So just about a week and a half ago, we had a instance take place in Afghanistan where 150 schoolgirls were poisoned.
What?
At a high school in the north part of Afghanistan. And this attack, no one's taken credit for it so far, but officials are blaming it on the conservative radicals who are opposed to female education. Now,
Jesus.
150 girls suffered from headaches and vomiting. Some were in critical condition. Others were able to go home. They believed the water tank at the school, kind of like a reservoir that they have at the school for like tap water, was poisoned. As of when the story was reported, the type of poison was not known. It doesn't sound like any of the girls actually died, fortunately.
That's very fortunate.
Yeah, it is. In the past, in recent history in Afghanistan, girls and women who were on their way to school, walking to school, have actually had acid thrown in their face on more than one occasion by hardline Islamists who feel that, and this is how the Taliban felt, was that education for women is un-Islamic. Now, I'm not trying to draw a conclusion that all Islamic people feel this way, but clearly there's a portion of this faith that has squared the idea of poisoning young girls or throwing acid in their face with what their God wants. And, you know, we've often, you know, I often hear from people, I've mentioned this before on the show, you know, people say, what's the harm of religion? And I don't know. And I want people to comment on this video. I want this discussion. I want to get emails at outcastandzion@gmail.com. I want to know what instance in society, in any society, you know, past or present, have people done things like throw acid in the face of other people for non-religious purpose. Like, I want to know, what movement has there been that to this level? I mean, this is just, I cannot think of anything more harmless than girls trying to get an education.
Yeah.
I mean, children trying to get an education, period. It doesn't matter that they're girls. I mean, like, what is more harmless than that?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It takes, this is actually one of these stories where I want to be enraged and I want to be just, you know, screaming and shouting at the camera, you know, and as ineffectual as that is. But really, it just makes me sad. And it makes me sad that we have a world where in some countries, some children cannot get an education. Because the creator of the universe, in all his justice, and all his mercy, and in all his benevolence, has deemed that should not happen. And that the response to that should be poisoning or acid in the face.
Well, because God's, you know, too busy to do it or ineffectual and can't do it himself. Somehow he needs us to affect his rules.
Sure.
I always get confused by that aspect of this, where you have these horrible things that people end up doing because they feel that they're doing it for God.
Right.
And it's just kind of like, you know, if God's the ultimate supreme being, can't he do it for himself? Right. And then again, if it's also part of his like divine plan and all of those kinds of excuses, then why are you getting involved?
It's
like,
one of those things where
if he really didn't want it, he would correct it.
It's one of those things where when people ask atheists, well, what kind of proof would you accept that a God exists? I'll tell you what, if in every Muslim country, every girl who went to school got struck by lightning, I would say, well, that might be a clue.
Yeah.
Maybe that God exists. I mean, that's weird, you know, and girls who don't go to school don't get struck by lightning, but every single girl, and on a cloudless day, who walks to school gets struck by lightning, something's going on.
Yeah.
You know, that would at least lend credence to the idea. But, you know,
we don't have anything like that.
It makes me angry, but it's overwhelmingly sad to me.
I'm just grateful none of them died. That's great.
Not this time.
Not this time.
So, how enlightened. Outcasts out.